The following half-hour show is a paid political program and is not endorsed by this station, management, or staff.
The following program is sponsored by Excalibur Insurance Management Services.
We have a special show for you this week, as we will be discussing one of the largest all-terrain vehicle and dirt bike parks in the country. If you're an off-roader, the Anthracite Outdoor Adventure Area is for you. Otherwise known as the AOAA, it officially opened in May of 2014 and remains opened on weekends and holidays. In addition to off-roading adventures, the AOAA contains very unique and attractive features for motorized and non-motorized recreation. Among other things, it has a large lodge welcome center and a completely paved entrance driveway and parking lot. The AOAA hosts more than 20,000 annual paid visitors per year, along with several national riding events. The property is located near Shamokin and sits in the southeast corner of Northumberland County in Cole Township. Appearing on this week's show is the AOAA's director, Dave Porzi. Dave had a successful professional ATV racing career, which included a national championship, and came to the AOAA with an extensive background in motorsports industry. His knowledge of motorcycles, dirt bikes, ATVs, UTVs, as well as side-by-sides, along with his extensive networking in the off-road industry, made him a great fit to be the director and the perfect guest to describe the park.
This is the Volpe Report, a weekly news and political interview show examining the latest local, state, and national issues with Chuck Volpe. Insightful, informative, controversial, the area's premier political talk show, the Volpe Report.
Dave, welcome to the Volpe Report. It's a pleasure to be able to shake people's hands again.
Yes, absolutely.
It used to be fist pumps and all that, so we're getting closer to normal.
Yes.
And as we wind down the season, eventually we're going to get to move even closer together. So we're getting there.
Yes.
First of all, thanks for making the journey up from the Shamokin area in Northumberland County. And as our audience has heard, as I've already kind of given them your background and why we're here today, you are the director of the Anthracite Outdoor Adventure Area. When it comes up on the screen, that'll be the name, and then we can now refer to it as what everybody else does, the AOAA. As I told you off camera, I got so used to saying the AOAA, I had to remind myself and write down what those things stood for. But now our audience knows that. So let's talk about, you're the director of it, and we've got a lot of ground to cover. And while we're speaking, our audience is going to see roll and film of what a wonderful facility it is. And I want to put right on the table right now so our audience doesn't think, because they see me buttoned up pretty good in these dark Ivy League suits and white shirts usually and ties, and they're saying, oh yeah, he's talking about this stuff. Chuck Volpe's probably been nowhere near. No. I had a grand tour. You drove me through the park. It was an amazing adventure. It's got something for everybody. If you're an ATV rider, it's to me Mount Rushmore. You need to go to see it. But having said that, describe the park. You're its director and really one of the visionaries of it. So talk about it, Dave.
The Anthracite Outdoor Adventure Area, we started out as 6,500 acres of county-owned property. We're now up to a little over 8,000 acres. We have a beautiful 70-acre welcome center facility. So when you drive into the AOAA, you're going to see a paved driveway, welcome building where you can come in and buy your passes. We have bathrooms. We have a little bit of everything for everybody, whether you're riding a dirt bike or an ATV, a side-by-side, or an off-road vehicle, Jeep, truck. We've got it all. You know, it's really family friendly with what we've been able to accomplish there. And it's, like I said, it's very state park-like when you pull in. A lot of people are surprised.
Well, I was one of them. Talk a little bit about the facility as it's constructed.
The way it's constructed, we have a half-mile long paved driveway. We have a 5-acre paved parking lot to accommodate the trucks and the trailers bringing these vehicles in. We have enough overflow parking that doesn't matter how many come to the facility. We've had over 1,300 riders in one day.
Wow.
More than enough parking. We also have a beautiful 40 by 100 event building that we do rent out to clubs and organizations when they want to have an event. We have outside bathrooms, we have a place to wash your hands, things like that. It's security walking around, things are on camera. We also offer for the full-size enthusiasts, for those who don't know, when you take a Jeep or a full-size vehicle off-road, you air your tires down. You don't run street pressures. Well, at the end of the day, now you have to blow those tires back up. We have a beautiful air station for the users to come and blow their tires back up.
Yeah. Well, I took the tour in a Jeep, and as I said, and we were going obviously very slow. You were very gentle on those of us that were in that car, knowing that if you're not an ATV rider or a dirt biker, you're going to be out of your element. Like someone I analogize it to, if you went out and, and someone put you on a surfboard and you're in about 40 feet ocean water, and all of a sudden, the waves start coming in. So you kind of took me through in a slow way, but even then, the being in nature like that, and cut out trails in a beautiful piece of land. I know we stopped once or twice to see the mountains and the views, the vistas. That some of it is spectacular. But I was equally impressed, Dave, by effectively the security. There's cameras. If you have an accident out there and you're miles from the lodge, again, unlike some other places that it's kind of the wild, wild west where you're just out there and good luck. If you happen to have an accident, an injury, a breakdown, good luck.
Yeah, we're blessed that the entire facility does have cell coverage through the whole facility, and we offer an app that all the riders can download onto their phone for free. It's called Maprika, and all of our trail maps are on there. You download it, and it shows you where you are on our property on our trail maps. So if you're on Trail 2 and you pull it up on your phone, it shows you that you're exactly there. The benefit to that is, in the event there's a breakdown and/or an emergency, that user can text us a picture, a screenshot of exactly where they are on the property, and we know how to get to them.
Exactly. Well, I would think for the mothers out there and grandmothers or wives that are having their significant others go out to do some ATV or dirt bike riding, hearing that would be of great comfort, knowing that it's a safe facility. And
yeah, we do offer a level of safety to what we offer. Other facilities do sell a little bit of a different product than what we do. We do have a set of rules, and those rules we take very, very seriously. You do have to wear a helmet, you have to wear your seatbelt in a side-by-side or a full-size vehicle, absolutely no alcohol. So that's one of the big things. The cowboy or outlaw riding mentality we just don't deal with. We use the F word, family. This is a place that you can bring the kids, and we're seeing more and more of the family element where they're now able to go out and buy a multi-passenger side-by-side or a 4-seat Jeep, etc. And we're now seeing mom and dad with the kids out on the weekend, having a good time, packing their lunch, going out in the middle of nature, and enjoying what we have to offer.
Right. Well, as I said, I saw that firsthand. Now, another thing we kind of glossed over quickly, I made the analogy to a ski resort, and I think it's appropriate. Like a ski resort, they have different trails.
Yes.
And I can testify, I've been on ski resorts, love to ski, and I started out in the bunny slope, they called it, and it probably was only about 40 feet, in a gradual decline. I learned how to snow plow and how to slow myself down, and then of course you can work your way all the way up when you feel like you're real good, and well, I'll use the term expert loosely, but you feel like you're ready for the challenge. They have the serious slopes for the serious riders, and your park covers all of that from a dirt bike or an ATV perspective.
Yes, our system is marked with the green, blue, black, and red. Green being the easy trail, blue being a more difficult trail, black being most difficult, and then you get into the red, which is the extreme. So green, very easy. If you're in a full-size vehicle, no body damage. You don't have to have a winch or lockers or anything like that. Now, when you move into the blue difficulty trail, yeah, you're probably going to get in a little more tighter, a little more hairier situations. And the comfort level jumps a little bit more. Because
Those are some of the trails I got.
there were some of the trails that we had you on when you're going, we're going to take this Jeep through there.
Yeah.
That's a pile of rocks. And yes, we went through there. And you handled it like a champ and spilling your coffee a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, we offer a little bit of everything for everybody. And whether you're a beginner to a full-blown expert, we have something to offer everyone. And it doesn't matter if you're on a 150cc dirt bike to 1,000 turbocharged side-by-side.
Okay.
There's something for everybody there.
You're a professional yourself. So when you're talking about these trails and the knowledge you bring to bear, that's important. So talk about your background, how you got into it, your love of it.
My background with the AOA and my background with the racing side started when I was 10 years old, riding a little Suzuki DS80, and the love for off-roading. Moved through as I got into an adult and started racing ATVs in the early 2000s, and a lot of it had become because of the trespassing issues that we had out there in this property.
Right.
You know, I was a 30-year veteran trespasser of where the AOA is.
Right.
And a lot of nonsense was going on, and just got tired of looking over my shoulder and turned that into let's start doing some ATV cross-country racing here within Pennsylvania with the District 6, and had quite a bit of success there. Won a couple state championships, a couple track championships with lead. Then there was a series called the Maxis 6 in 12 hours of ATV America. It was a 6-hour endurance race, 3 riders, 1 machine. The 2 other gentlemen that were on the team with myself, we ended up winning a few of the PA events. New York, we won 1 in New Hampshire.
Wow.
The 12-hour events, we ended up in 2005 finishing 2nd. And then in 2006, we went down to Texas for the 12-hour event and ended up winning the national championship.
Wow.
For this long-term endurance race. And you know, my background with that, you know, I was racing, and while I was racing, I was hearing about this project, and slowly started to see what these guys were doing. You know, as far as myself with this position, you know, I started out as a volunteer, basically, when the AOA was the first idea, and was listening to what they had to say, and when it came time for the director of operations position to become open, I did apply, never thinking I would ever get it. Because, you know, a lot of people, when I got called for the first interview, there was people showing up in 3-piece suits, briefcases, and, you know, at that point in time, I was a sales manager at a Harley-Davidson dealership. And, you know, I sat down and went through this interview process with county commissioners, the AOA board, people from DCNR, and lo and behold, through the long process, I was offered the position, and you know, and ended up getting it.
Well, it's important, as I said. Now, if you're a kind of a novice, whether dirt bike rider, ATV rider, or the like, and you want to go to this park, and you're hearing all about these great things, I said, to me, I would take comfort. I know this is how I view things. I want to know that the person in charge can help me. Like, what am I doing? How should I be doing this? You know, in terms of advice, some instruction.
Yes.
So again, that is another feature that you provide.
That is one of the unique things about the AOAA. We have staff. So whether you've been to our facility 25 times or it's the first time you're coming there, when you get to the facility, there's staff. You can ask a question. Hey, where can I go for these easier trails? Where is it more rocky? Where's the mud? And our staff can actually talk you through it and show you on our paper maps, hey, these are the areas that you want to go for the experience you're looking for. And that's one of the things. I just had some people last weekend. A gentleman called on a Friday. Hey, I want to bring my son out. Shows up. I figured it was the gentleman I talked to on the phone the day before. Talked to him on Saturday for 20 minutes outside, and he was just blown away with how the facility was set up, that there was actually staff and people to talk to. And he loved the fact that in the event there was a problem or a breakdown, he could call the trailhead office and we can send staff out to assist them.
Right. Well, that's huge. Well, our time for half the show flew by, and we're going to get to some ancillary issues that are important also. This is a political show, obviously.
Yes.
So we're going to get into some of not just the politics, but more importantly, the economic development and
Yes.
and the what you have done for your region That's I think, critically important. So at any rate, we're here today with Dave Porzi, who is the Executive Director, the CEO, if you will, of the AOAA. And we've been talking to him about the park. You've seen a lot of footage that we've been able to acquire, and I've been able to at least talk about some personal experience as well. But we'll be back after these messages to talk about some of, as I said, the ancillary issues relative to the show, relative to the park. And you should hear that. There is that part of the component, what he has done for the area. And I've heard that from politicians, from some of our state leaders, and others that are from the central Pennsylvania region. We'll be back in a moment.
Every week, Chuck Volpe shares his perspective on Pennsylvania issues in the news and on your mind. From new laws being introduced in Harrisburg and Washington, to government spending and even local controversies, hear how they affect us in Northeast and Central Pennsylvania. Catch Volpe's Views every Tuesday on the Fox 56 News, first at 10.
Welcome back. Again, we're here today with Dave Porzi, Executive Director, CEO of the AOAA, one of the largest parks of its kind really in the country, clearly in Pennsylvania. There's only one other one, like a companion course, that sister course of yours in Altoona, that matches your size and scope and staff and professionalism. But we were talking, Dave, as you said, we're going to get into some of the ancillary issues. And first of all, I've talked to some of my political friends down there, and I kept hearing your name. My close personal friend, Ed Cristiano, of course, is the Executive Director of the Northumberland County Housing Authority. He's also the President of our Board of Directors on our governmental insurance company. And Ed had been telling me for a while about you and about what had been done. And he's become really famous in the state, along with a leader in the House of Representatives, Kurt Masser. I believe he's the caucus administrator for the Republican caucus in leadership in the House of Representatives. Also from the area, he represents a portion of Northumberland County. Kurt Masser does. So I was hearing from them about you in this park, but I was hearing it not about the excitement of ATV or dirt bike riding, because they knew that wasn't something I would be doing.
Yes.
I was hearing about it in the terms of the economic development you've provided to the area. I've heard about, Ed has become, from a housing authority perspective, and Kurt Masser, as from the legislative perspective, they have become leaders, literally, without any hyperbole. They are leaders in this state for eliminating blight. There was a lot of it in the Shamokin and central areas there around Northumberland County, Sunbury, and the like, and they've been addressing it. And your park has been addressing it and contributing to it. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, we partnered with the Housing Authority of Northumberland County for a benefit event. And we have a ride every September. This year's will be September 11th. And what we do is we set up a course, riders go out, we offer a chicken dinner, and the proceeds from that go directly to the Housing Authority of Northumberland County. And we're really blessed to say in 4 years, we've been able to give them $45,000 in donation money to help with the blight issue. Because when you drive through the city of Shamokin and the lower portion of Northumberland County, you do see it. Right. Coming to the AOA, you do see some of the blighted homes within Shamokin and Cole Township. But we're very blessed that we got a great partner with the Housing Authority to help fight this.
You mentioned that you had approached, or your group had approached, previous administrations of county commissioners of Northumberland County and kind of hit a brick wall. But I'm very pleased to call a very good friend of mine is County Commissioner Joe Claiborne.
Yes.
Down there. And he has been a leader in this and promoting it, obviously, as well. So talk a little bit about the commissioners.
Yeah, let's start with the beginning. Let's
Right,
just
sure.
say, let's backtrack a little bit to that. About 20 years ago,
Wow, that one.
3 gentlemen had an idea about a 2,000-acre off-road facility. And they were looking at some of this land that everybody had been trespassing on, and they were trying to figure out who owned it. And a couple trips to the county office, looking at the taxes, the tax parcels, and things like that, they kept seeing CC, and they're thinking coal company.
Right.
And eventually they found out it was actually the parcels were owned by the county commissioners. So they came up with this idea, go down, see the county commissioners. Well, they already had their agenda. They're doing their own thing, not really interested. New set of commissioners come in, they go down again. They pitched this 3-4 times till they finally got an administrative in there who, Kurt Mosser was one of them, Vinnie Clausy and Frank Sawicki at the time listened to what these gentlemen had to say and went, wow, we didn't really realize the exposure that we had, and this could be an economic engine for lower Northumberland County. Coal's gone, industry's gone, it's abandoned land, it's being dumped on, it's being trespassed on. They started looking into this a little bit further, and there was a lot of push within the county. And I got to give props to Kathy Jeremiah. She was the one who wrote the grants for us to get the funding to do what we have out there today.
What was her position?
She was the grant writer for the Planning Commission.
Okay.
Under Pat Mack, when Pat worked for the county.
Okay.
And once that started rolling, DCNR was looking for a place to have motorized recreation. The county had the land. Right. And they morphed together, and it really got fast-tracked once they both met. And the county commissioners then, and every set of county commissioners since then to the current administration that's down there, have all been 110% behind what we are doing. And we're very blessed that they're involved. Right. You know, we've been able to donate back money to Northumberland County. I was just there at the beginning of the month, and we just wrote them, you know, another donation check for $75,000.
Wow.
You know,
it's not 7,500. There's 3 zeros there.
Yeah, so 3 zeros there.
That's significant.
It's you know, we're blessed that we're able to give back, and you know, we've had a lot of support from the politicians in the area because they're seeing the positives now. In the beginning, it was a big what if. What if this fails? Could this project go? And the right people were in the right place at the right time.
Right. Well, I know Joe Klebon was one of your big supporters, and
yes.
And Kurt Mosser.
Yes.
So you know, they were the reason, honestly, that I came down. They said you have to do it. It's something you will like seeing. I informed them I haven't been within a par 5 of an ATV vehicle in my life, so they said, no, you're going to be amazed, and I was. What you guys have done, it's, you know, my back doesn't allow for me to get into it at age 61. Right. But yeah, to be there and to recommend it to other people is something that's amazing. And as long as you're driving me, and if there's a Jeep that's high enough off the ground, I've already said I'm going to come back and do it again, because the vistas of it are as important as the actual trail to me. I mean, you're seeing, you know, mountains, and you're in higher altitudes in parts of it that really are amazing.
Yeah, there's a lot of beauty out on that property that people don't realize. You know, we have 2 beautiful vistas on the property. We're in the middle of a $10.5 million DEP, Bureau of Abandoned Mine Reclamation project, where they're filling in an old water impoundment, and we're going to have a 6,600-foot extreme Jeep rock obstacle.
Wow. So
that hopefully will be finished up here in the fall. So there's a lot of things out there, plus the whaleback is there. We have access
I saw the whaleback.
To view down onto it. And
talk a little bit, tell people what
the whaleback is. It's a rock formation that was, when they did the strip mining back in the 50s for coal, they uncovered this anticline. And it's a gigantic rock, looks like a whale coming out of the ground. Right. Google whaleback Shamokin, the information's there. It is something to see. Right. So, and you can see it from our trail network. Yeah,
as I said, I got to see that. Now, if my understanding from what you've explained to me, there is the process. They're in the process of building 2 major hotels to basically service the tourist industry. I didn't know that Northumberland County had. You're bringing in those kind of numbers, Dave. So talk a little bit about.
Yeah, the whole idea behind the AOA was economic development, conservation of natural resources, and motorized recreational opportunities. Right now, because of the draw that we're bringing in 50,000 visitors a year from all over the country and around the world to do the motorized recreation in our facility. The issues we have are no support businesses. That's where it's now starting to come into play. There are 2 hotels being built. There have been a number of repair facilities that have started up in the last 2 years. Right. There's been an organization that was formed. Kurt Mosser was actually the one who got this rolling. It's called SABRE, the Shamokin Area Businesses for Economic Revitalization. And it's local businesses now who are part of this revitalization effort within the city of Shamokin, and they have been doing some wonderful things. Part of that has been the city of Shamokin came to us 3 years ago and said, you know, you have all these visitors, how do we get them downtown?
Right.
They're tourists. Right. They want to have the ability to go into the city. West Virginia, where Hatfield-McCoy Trail Network is, you drive within the towns. But that is a rural environment. This is a city environment. Right. A little bit different idea. Sat with the mayor and the city council, and we had one event. We had 900 riders show up to go down into the city. The businesses were going, why aren't we doing this every day?
Sure.
And I said, well, you got to talk to city council on that one. But it took 2 years. We had 7 different events where the city opened up the streets to allow the riders to go into the city. They passed an ordinance now where Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, you are allowed to leave the AOAA. We have a trail constructed off-road that takes you right down into the business district.
Wow.
And they have a certain zone. Our riders are given maps. You can download a map off our website. You know exactly where to go. You can get fuel. You can go to the grocery store. You can go to the restaurants. And the businesses are really seeing a bump. Right. The big change is when the hotels are done. Once the hotels are built, that's going to be a whole new dynamic. And we're going to have to change our operational hours and things like that. And hopefully the city will extend the riding, you know, just from 3 days to 7 days a week. Right. Because we have these people coming in. One of the biggest problems that we had has been lodging. Right. You know, the riders are traveling 35, 40 minutes away to stay.
Or more.
Right. And, you know, getting the hotels built in, now we're keeping that tourism money in Northumberland County and within the city and within Cole Township.
Well, Dave, thank you for coming up and allowing me to kind of present to our region of the state what you offer there. Even though all of this is in our media market, we go as far west as Williamsport and down into central Pennsylvania. Obviously, you guys have seen this show down there, so it's good. But as I said, in the central part of this media market, which is the Scranton-Wilkes-Barre media market, which is the heart where these studios sit, you know, I thought it was important for people to hear about this opportunity and adventure, which is really what it is. And I know of all the people, I can't drive anywhere without seeing people on ATVs. Some of it's illegal. They're in places they shouldn't be. Yeah. And there are places they can go to do it legally and to match their skill set with what's available. So thank you.
Yes, thank you for having us up here. It's been my pleasure.
Pleasure, Dave. Again, we are here today with Dave Porzi, Executive Director of the AOAA, a state-of-the-art ATV and dirt bike park. And for those of you out there that have those interests, I would highly recommend it. I've done it myself. It's a worthwhile adventure. And you can hear all the other amenities that are coming to that area and to that park. I had originally advertised this as our last show. It is not. I am going to do one more. We're going to have a special show next Sunday. Historical events have taken place in the General Assembly relative to the ongoing issue with Governor Tom Wolf and his emergency powers. Of course, the people of Pennsylvania, in an overwhelming mandate against the governor, passed a constitutional amendment empowering the legislature to strip, in certain cases, the emergency powers of the governor. And that's what's taking place in the General Assembly as we speak. So we're going to have Senator Dave Argall, Senate leader, chairman of the Senate Republican Campaign Committee, very importantly, the majority chairman of the State Government Committee in the Senate, was one of the leaders in that fight, and he will be making a special appearance by Zoom for next Sunday's show. That will be our last show, so hopefully you'll tune in next Sunday at 11:30.
Every week, Chuck Volpe shares his perspective on Pennsylvania issues in the news and on your mind. From new laws being introduced in Harrisburg and Washington to government spending and even local controversies, hear how they affect us in Northeast and Central Pennsylvania. Catch Volpe's Views every Tuesday on the Fox 56 News, first at 10.